Mobile warfare is the third most commonly used doctrine in MP. It's the best doctrine for a mix of tanks and infantry, and because of that, in vanilla MP, it's usually done by the Soviets. It really shines when you do not have dedicated infantry miners in your team and need to build your infantry yourself. The essential strengths it offers are a bunch of organization for your infantry and a decent amount of breakthrough for your tanks. The mobile infantry pathway will in almost all cases be better than the blitzkrieg path, since the extra orc gained on your motorized will just benefit your entire division as a whole way more than the orc and breakthrough gained on the right side. Also, it offers obviously infantry breakthrough, organization, which is really great. But yeah, for a mixed build with tanks, you should go for modern blitzkrieg on the second pathway, since it offers quite a lot of breakthrough and orc, while the left side mainly delivers manpower. But important to note, the left side does have the added benefit of adding the best defensive tactic in the game, guerrilla tactics. But I'd say that's generally not worth it, since backhand blow, which is gained on the right side, is almost as good of a tactic. Just to sum up, mobile warfare is good if you want to build tanks while having to build your infantry yourself. And in MP, that is something that is virtually only true for Soviets, but in single player, that will be quite common for you and quite often the case. So overall, I will give the Doctrine 3 out of 5 stars because of that. Superior firepower is by far the worst doctrine in the game. No country in MP should ever use it, really. The biggest reason for this is just breakthrough. Breakthrough is a critical stat for any offensive division. If you want to watch more about that, watch my other video. And also, its orc is not great. Again, in my other videos, I explained why that is so important. Orc times attack is generally the best way to determine how good division is. If you watch other guys from YouTubers that aren't well versed in the MP meta, or in single player meta for that, you'll notice that this doctrine often gets praised by people. That is because the soft attack may often appear very high on the surface level, but literally everything else about this doctrine sucks. And even the soft attack is not that high once you actually factor in things like the planning on GBP, and a bunch of other things as well, like supply. If you want to go for the doctrine anyhow, integrated support is far better than the dispersed support, mostly because line RT sucks big time. And because of the extra support company soft attack offered, what you can do is you can go and stack a lot of support battalions with high soft attack to reach some funny numbers, especially since there are so many good ones nowadays. Paratrooper light tank Riken, rocket arty, super heavy howitzers, just to name a few of the best. And whether you want to go for airland battle or shock and awe depends on your situation, but usually it's going to be shock and awe. Airland battle has one big upside though, and that is that it offers what is probably the second best, or arguably even the best defensive tactic in the game, tactical withdrawal. This tactic opens a new combat phase in the battle, which will cause you to pull just far greater tactics than your opponent. But overall, I can just give this doctrine 1 out of 5 stars though. It doesn't get much worse than that, and you really never should do it. GBP is the best offensive doctrine in the game, really. It offers the most breakthrough and attack of all of the doctrines because of its high planning in addition to a good base modifiers. It also reduces supply consumption, which is crucial in multiplayer, but also really important in single player. Usually you would want to go with the left side. That being said, the right side of the doctrine is also awesome, with especially the land night attack modifier being great. Any nation that mainly does special forces or tanks should go for GBP. In a typical MP game, that would be Germany, the UK, the US, France, and Japan. So you can see that's 5 out of 7 majors in the game. And this alone just goes to show how insanely overpowered the doctrine is. I just want to quickly also answer to some objections that people might raise. One of the most common ones is, but I don't fight at max planning always, which is partially true. But it doesn't matter, since planning decay does not increase with max planning. So if I have a tank with 90% planning and you have one with 60%, we will both drop equally fast. So when you are at 30% planning, I will have 60% planning and still 30% more stats than you. Another one is that planning can be denied, and while this is true in pure vanilla, it's often modded out. But even in pure vanilla, you can easily avoid that on the vast majority of nations by transferring spy hubs. If you want to learn more about that, just go check out my other video. I already explained this a bit. If you have any questions, also just write it into the comments. I will answer to all of them. To sum up, this is just the perfect offensive doctrine. In good MP games, at least 5 out of 7 starting majors go for it. And any nation that specializes on special forces and tanks should go for it. And because of that, it just can't get anything less than 5 stars. Okay, Mass Assault is the best defensive doctrine in the game. It's the go-to doctrine for offensive and defensive infantry. It offers an extremely high reinforce rate, which allows you to stack a lot of infantry without being memed. Mass Mob is the right side of the doctrine and almost always the better side of the doctrine. If you want to mix your Mass Mob build with some tanks, you can in theory go for the battle, but in my opinion you should just go for mobile warfare at that point. In addition to its high reinforce rate, it offers a great recovery rate, which again makes it way harder for getting rid of huge defensive stacks of infantry. Its most important buff is most likely the infantry combat with reduction though. This allows you to get way more stats per infantry division, and it will increase your orc and most importantly also your HP. It also offers a great spirit of the army, which gives you even more HP. If you combine all of these HP modifiers together, you can just start building large infantry and aggressively battle plan into your enemies with the hope of eventually draining their manpower and guns before yours goes away. While this may sound like a big meme strat, it really isn't, and it's sometimes even used in really high skill lobbies. This happened to me very often as well, by the way. This is really very common that like Russia just battle plans into the Axis and they didn't invest enough in infantry and then they just immediately die. Well, anyhow, by the way, I also used the strategy in Tommy K's $3,000 great game, which I won with this. So as you can see, this really is a serious strategy. As a last note, it also offers the best defensive strategy in the game, guerrilla tactics, which just makes it even stronger. In good MP lobbies, guerrilla tactics are often banned or strongly restricted though, since that combined with the rest of the doctrine's modifiers just makes combat painfully slow on certain fronts. Since this is a great doctrine, especially for single player games, and for MP games most of you guys will be playing, I have no choice but to also give this doctrine 5 out of 5 stars.